Coming up next on Making Moves, JTA gets $17 million from the FTA. Now the First Coast Flyer is heading east. We'll get the latest on the replacement for the Skyway with Matt Chang when he joins us in studio. We'll learn how JTA's new phone app is making it easy to report a security issue and find out who took home the crown as the best bus operator and mechanic when we check out the highlights from the 2018 Bus Rodeo. I'm Donna Deegan. These stories and more right now on Making Moves. Hello and welcome to Making Moves. I'm Donna Deegan. We're happy to have you with us. On today's show, JTA's Matt Chang will join me here in the studio to update us on the U2C, JTA's plan to replace the Skyway. We'll also learn about a new security measure launched by the JTA and how you can play a key role in that. Then later, it is the end of an era as JTA crowns a new bus rodeo champion. But we begin with news about the First Coast Flyer, JTA's bus rapid transit system. With two Flyer corridors up and running on the north and southeast sectors of the city, the JTA recently announced it has received nearly $17 million from the Federal Transit Administration to build the east corridor to the beaches. The Red Line, as it will be known, will travel from downtown along the Arlington Expressway to Southside Boulevard. It will then head south to Beach Boulevard, where it will turn east and travel to the beaches area. As with the current Flyer routes, the Red Line will feature compressed natural gas buses with free onboard Wi-Fi. The Flyer buses run every 10 minutes during peak times. Flyer stations also feature large covered shelters and on-site ticketing. Well, Jacksonville is the epicenter of the transportation universe right now, thanks in large part to JTA's plan to use autonomous vehicles as the replacement for the nearly 30-year-old Skyway. Earlier this year, JTA opened a test track, and over the next 2 years, we will be bringing in several autonomous vehicles to determine what type might work best here in Jacksonville. This is so exciting. The JTA's Matt Chang is the program administrator for us on this, and he joins us now in the studio. Matt, welcome to Making Moves.
Thank you.
It's very exciting to have you here, and I think most of our viewers probably know the history of the Skyway. I remember when we actually got the Skyway and we thought, man, this is going to be some big transformative thing. But you know, the technology is now obsolete. It's wearing out. You can't get parts anymore. And so we're talking about replacing it with autonomous vehicles. So explain why that is the best way to go here. Well,
it's a great question. Autonomous vehicles, I think, have the chance to be the most disruptive technology over our lifetimes. It's something it's beginning. We're hearing about it, and we're going to watch it unfold for literally our entire lives. And there's a lot of talk about how children born today may not even choose to drive tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
So as that technology unfolds, JTA wants to be right in the heart and center of it. We see it has a very long on-ramp, and it's not a technology that's at risk of going obsolete. It's something that's going to continue to evolve, and we want to play an active role in that.
Well, and you were telling me that we actually are going to have the first autonomous vehicle that's being tested of this kind in the state.
Absolutely.
Or in the country. Is it the country?
It'll be North America.
Okay.
So right now we have secured some new technology. It's being sent over from Europe, where a lot of this technology is developed. And so we're going to have the first Easy Mile 10 next generation vehicle in service in North America. That vehicle actually arrives in Jacksonville tomorrow. And it's actually next week we'll have a team of computer engineers out there setting it up.
That is so exciting. So what kind of testing are you going to be doing on these? I know we said you're going to be testing several. So what kind of testing are we talking about here?
So there's really 3 types of testing that we want to do. The first one is we want to understand vehicle performance. This is going to tell us the speeds the vehicle can go, the types of maneuvers, and the safety features. The next is these vehicles are autonomous, so they think for themselves a lot. They make a lot of decisions, and they have a lot of onboard intelligence. So we want to test that intelligence. We want to see how they make decisions, why they make decisions, and where the computer information systems could be upgraded. And then the final thing, and probably the most important, is public acceptance. We want to see how people react. Will people react with autonomous vehicles similar to they react with the Skyway or our bus systems? And then we want to customize and educate around the public's reaction.
Well, we were talking about I know when I hear, obviously, I'm not this young generation that's never going to think about driving, right? So I'm thinking, some people are going to go, ooh, driverless vehicles, I don't know. And you were saying it's sort of like when people first saw the moving, walkways.
That's right. That's right. So one of the biggest things we want to do is just get people on it, right? And we're running a very safe environment. Public safety is our number one concern. We want to get a variety of people on there. We want to test accessibility. We want to have families. We want to have commuters. And so we just think that the more types of people and the more types of our public we get on the vehicles, the better the public acceptance will be, and then our learning about how to make the system the best for everybody. So
you're feeling like by the time we actually roll this out, because of the way that we're doing it, that the public will be ready for this?
Yes, I think so. So the key to remember with this, it's a brand new technology. And the way we're deploying our system, we want to have an upgrade plan just like your mobile phone plan. So technologies change, and as they change, we want the latest and greatest, and we want to make sure that we're cutting edge. So what was new yesterday doesn't feel so new today, and that's, I think, a lot of the first experience we're going to have with autonomous vehicles is how do we create a system that can be updated and modernized constantly on a planned refresh cycle so that the public gets to take advantage of the latest benefits.
But it won't be like our smartphones where after we've had them for a while, they start to slow down a little bit.
I don't think they will slow down, but I think the new vehicles will make the old ones look slow.
There you go. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So what kind of, I know you've had some people that have been testing this stuff already. What are some of the feedback that you're getting?
It's been overwhelmingly positive. We've been collecting surveys from literally hundreds of rides so far. And what the public is saying to us is, we liked it. It was surprising. People were expecting a big wow factor, and I think what most people get when they ride on it is 10 seconds into the ride, they start conversing with each other and they forget that they're on a vehicle that's not being driven by a human.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of very intuitive for people.
Okay, so I know one of the things that features that differs from the Skyway as we know it right now, aside from obviously the driverless feature, is that this will have the ability to go from an elevated platform down to ground level. And why is that an important feature?
So the importance of going from elevated to ground, we almost need to say it backwards. We own the Skyway infrastructure, the big concrete bridge that we see all over downtown. Jacksonville owns that, and that is a real asset for our city that other cities don't have. So we are actually planning and designing our system to operate at grade on public roadways through traffic signals. And we then have the ability that when we get downtown in the one-way streets and the congestion of rush hour, our vehicles will actually travel up a ramp onto the Skyway infrastructure and then maneuver with no traffic and no obstructions. So we think what we're going to be able to offer is actually an improvement to circulating downtown, and we're going to be able to move faster and more freely on the Skyway infrastructure. So
are we looking at a vehicle then that's probably smaller than the one that we have now, or what is it? How is it different in the way that it looks? Or I guess they're all a little different, but are they smaller mostly than the Skyway that is now?
That's a great question. Our smallest vehicle we've considered is 6 passengers. The largest is 20. And where we're settling is probably somewhere in the 12 passenger range, which would be a little bit smaller than our current Skyway trains. The difference is when the trains are coupled together in sets of 2s or 3s, they stay that way for a long time. Our vehicles will on demand be able to couple up or decouple. So in the case that we have low ridership, like at night or early in the morning, one vehicle will suffice. At heavy times, we may add 5 of these together and be able to carry a lot larger load of passengers as the vehicles tether up in a virtual train.
Okay, well that's a great feature. Obviously, one of the big knocks on the Skyway for a lot of people that were hoping to see it expand was that it really didn't go a whole lot of places. People said, hey, why can't it go to Riverside or the stadium? And for obvious reasons, that did not happen. So how are we addressing that with this new system, or are we?
We are, and it's the first thing we're doing. So, Implementing technology and implementing transit is a lot like real estate. It's location, location, location. We got to get to where people want to be. So our very first planned routes go to the stadium and the sports complex. Number one, right? Go Jaguars. We want to support our teams. We want to have less hassle with parking and more free and quick access to the stadium area. We are also expanding into the new Brooklyn and Riverside area. That is one of the very first things we're planning on doing. That is such a hot spot for development and entertainment, business, that we need to be there. And we're also going to be connecting medical centers. So we'll be going north from downtown up to 8th Street and to Shands, the entire medical complex at Shands. We'll be taking that same area and we'll be going south over the Acosta Bridge and we'll be connecting MD Anderson and the new Baptist Medical Center in San Marcos. So I think when you look at the connectivity that we're offering, it's conscious and it's top of mind for us that the first thing we have to do is get people where they want to be.
Now, one of the things that you were explaining to me was that because we are the ones that are testing all of this, we have the opportunity to give feedback and perhaps get some features that might not currently be part of the plan. And you were talking a little bit about the whole idea of making sure that these things are handicap accessible. Do you see that happening? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Our number one feedback to the industry as we consider multiple vehicle manufacturers and multiple formats of vehicles is it has to be accessible and it has to serve our entire community. That is pretty much a starting point for us. And so because some of the early technologies are only quasi-accessible, that's the first thing we're doing is working with them. We're also working with our local constituents here in Jacksonville to get them access to the vehicles to provide us feedback. We then package that feedback, we send it off to the vehicle vendors, and we have them incorporate that in their next designs. And then as the industry evolves, it's very clear to everyone that the JTA will not accept any new vehicles that can't service our entire public. So that's something, it's a goal we've set out there. It's both a challenge to industry and a challenge to ourselves. Well, it's cool to be the ones that are out there being the first that are offering this feedback. But what's our, since we're still looking at all these different platforms, what's our timeline on this? I mean, are we years and years out of this? We have a 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, and 7-year deployment plan. So we want to do a couple things. The first is we want to demonstrate competency in the AV space early. We want to get out there and be able to show that we can do some things very well on a consistent basis with the utmost respect for safety. But like I talked about mobile phones, the technology is going to upgrade. And we don't want to get left behind. We don't want to have a system that is antiquated after the industry grows up. So we're going to be doing deployments on the 2-year, 3-year, 5-year, and 7-year as a refresh. We're going to be expanding the system and refreshing the technology so we have the latest and greatest and that we stay right on top of where the industry's headed. That's fantastic. So we mentioned earlier that what is it, U2C is not the easiest thing to say. I know you're batting around different names. Is it too early to ask what we're going to call this thing? It's probably not going to be the Skyway. It will probably not be called U2C in the long run. That's a project name. That's kind of our top secret code name that is now being used in the public. But like I said earlier, I'm an engineer. I don't pick names and I don't pick colors. So I will stand by for the experts on what we're going to be calling it in the future. What a wonderful project this is, and it's so exciting to be able to learn how it's coming along. And you know, as it seems like is usual for the JTA these days, we're sort of on the cutting edge with the country right now. I mean, people are looking to us to see what the newest and latest technology and breakthroughs are. So this is exciting times. Thanks for joining us, and we hope you'll come back. All right, thanks, Donna. Take care. All right, very good, so fun. All right, still to come, a new mobile app that will help keep you safe. And then Angie Williams joins us to share some behind the scenes secrets about JTA's road construction projects. That's up next.
Every year, 40% of all food in the U.S. never gets eaten. 40%, that's almost half the food we produce. Food waste is a serious problem. It impacts all of us.
And it's expensive. Your family is throwing $1,500 a year in the trash.
We're working hard to put food waste on the chopping block.
And you can do the same at home.
Learn how to cook it, store it, and share it.
Just don't waste it.
Go to SaveTheFood.com.
Welcome back. Security is an ever-present concern for every public transportation agency in the country. It's just the world we live in. So the JTA has partnered with eLerts to launch JTA See and Say, a mobile app that makes it easy for individuals to communicate threats, safety, security, and other concerns in real time. JTA Security Officer Ivan Moat says what started out as an alert system for employees quickly expanded to include the general public.
We put a tab on the app for JTA employees only so that they could communicate their concerns directly to the staff, and we knew it came from an employee. The other function of the app is that we can push information out to the public, and they can push information to us as it relates to safety and security on the JTA system.
The app allows users to attach a photo or video to the alert, thereby providing a better understanding of the situation. Customers can submit the alert with their location and contact information, or they can choose to submit it anonymously. Once submitted, JTA can provide updates back to the customer on the status of their report. Incoming reports will be monitored 24 hours a day. The JTA See and Say app is available in your app store right now. Well, JTA is currently in the midst of a $100 million road and intersection improvement program called Mobility Works. Right now, roadway expansion projects are underway at both Girvin Road and Collins Road, with Kernan Boulevard set for groundbreaking in May. But managing this volume of construction is more than just laying down some asphalt, folks. Here to tell us more is JTA Design and Construction Project Manager Angie Williams. And Angie, welcome to Making Moves. It's a pleasure to have you here. It's exciting to hear how all these things take place. And, often we just sort of take for granted what goes into building a road. You think, you're just throwing down some asphalt, but it's really a whole lot more than that, isn't it?
Yes, it is, Donna. I'm really glad that I got the opportunity to kind of tell the background. Oftentimes, we would have customers call, why is it taking so long for us to build a road?
Is that you people?
And it's more than just getting plans and doing the construction and doing the design. The beauty about working for a company like JTA is that we are really good corporate citizens and that the environment is important too. A part of road construction is making sure that we go out and do preliminary surveys of wetlands or where waterways may be, so that when we put in a road, we put in a road that is conducive for the existing environment as well as the community that exists too.
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to educate people because, people don't know what they don't know. Yeah. And I think most people are very concerned about how the environment is impacted by some of these things. So can you tell me a little bit more about the environmental review process?
Sure. What we do, and in this case, say San Pablo is one of the roadways that we have under design. There's a company that we hire. Right now it's Environmental Resource Solutions. They will send a botanist, environmental scientists out and actually survey the roadway preliminarily to see what is out there, what kind of species exist. If you go to the Florida Wildlife Conservation website, you will see that Florida has very many endangered or regulated species. So we go out and we see a nest. Some people may say, oh, it's just a nest, but no, it's a home, and we need to find out what kind of birds. Endangered species could be birds, lizards. I learned about the black indigo snake, which I knew nothing about. There is a lizard called a skink that is an endangered species.
Sure.
So we have to make sure that we're doing the right things. A lot of that would be once we go out and survey, we'll put in the roadway design, and it may mean, like for gopher tortoises, relocating the burrows to another place in the site. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have to take the burrow and take it far away, but maybe relocate it where it still can coexist in that community and in that environment. But it entails a whole lot more than just putting road surfaces down and doing the general construction.
Well, I would suspect as our area continues to grow, this becomes a bigger and bigger need because you want to make sure that you can create that coexistence for a lot of our species. How often do you find something in one of those surveys that causes you to have to delay a project?
Oftentimes we do, and it's almost like the human existence in that you find a little bit of everybody everywhere. So when we go in, it may be like, for example, my Kernan project, there were some abandoned gopher tortoises burrows. In the beginning, there's nothing there. We also do due diligence right before construction. We'll go back and we'll recheck, and if it is, then we'll have to relocate. But it's a hit and miss situation. Oftentimes, if you're going to build within a wetland area, normally there's something there.
Well, so. I got to tell you, this has been illuminating. It's interesting to know everything you do, and frankly, thank you for what you do, because as a long-time, well, lifelong citizen of this area, I appreciate the fact that you're looking out for every part of our city, not just the asphalt parts.
Well, absolutely, and I'm thankful that I work for a company that allows me to do this, and I think that's the beautiful thing about being an engineer and a project manager. I get to see all aspects of the construction, and really this was a delight for me to illuminate some of the beautiful things that we also do for the community.
Angie Williams illuminating us today. I love it. Thank you so much, and we hope we'll have you back to talk more about this as our projects continue.
I would love to.
Thank you so much. Thanks for being here with us. How great is that? It's nice to know that JTA is investing in all of that. Up next, we find out who is Jacksonville's top bus operator and mechanic when we check out the highlights from the 2018 Bus Rodeo. Stay with us.
For most of us, eating healthy is just a matter of choice. We go to the nearest supermarket and pick out all the fresh produce we want. But how healthy would you be if all you had nearby was fast food restaurants and convenience stores filled with junk food and frozen pizzas? Every Friday, JTA's Rosa Parks Produce Market is helping you eat healthier with lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, all at reasonable prices. Rosa Parks help change our world. Now the Rosa Parks Produce Market can help change your life.
Welcome back to Making Moves. Every year, the JTA holds a bus rodeo where its drivers and mechanics compete to see who is the best in their respective fields. As Making Moves videographer Carlos Bouvier shows us, this year's event was historic. For the first time in a decade, a new driving champion was crowned. Take a look.
We're going to start in 3, 2, 1, begin.
Clear. 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 We got air restriction, air restriction. Shut down here too. Shut here. The fill cap's loose over here on me. On there, Bill? I'm trying to let it run. Get the defect out of it. Careful. Yeah, I was on it. That's not it. Keep going.
Ready? Turn. Go ahead. No, green light.
JTA maintenance rodeo competition is the Thunder 3. And now for the bus operator winner for the 2018 JTA bus rodeo and competition. The first place bus operator is Michael Schmugley with a score of 503.
And that wraps up this episode of Making Moves. We thank you for taking the time to join us. Remember, you can check out past episodes anytime online at jtafla.com. You can also find stories and other exclusive content when you like our Facebook page at facebook.com/JTA Making Moves. I'm Donna Deegan. We hope to see you next time for another edition of Making Moves. Take care, everyone. We'll see you then.